Now, travel can be stressful. Hi, my name is Gray, and my content is for the girlies who want to live a fun and intentional life. And I do not like to do anything stressful. So let me show you how to plan your travel without overcomplicating it so it can feel easy. The trip planning process should start early enough for you to be able to secure your lodging and transportation at least 1 month in advance. Now, for larger trips, I suggest 3 months. Each new year, I like to know going into it what trips I want to take, and I try to spread them out by every quarter. So I'm usually taking 1 trip per quarter, and I usually know ahead of time where I would like to go. I can then plug that trip into my calendar and review as time goes on to make sure that I'm on track of my timeline. So right now, I want to take a trip that would happen in 7 months. I hope to finish the planning process within the next 4 months so that I will have everything paid for and the itinerary set 3 months in advance. I also suggest if you're traveling with people that are anxious, who get stressed easy, or a big group, start this plan as soon as possible. Now we're getting into the trip planning prep. Pick a place to store all your research, pick a time where you can sit down and do the research, and then set your budget. It is easy to forget about planning your trip, so that's why it's essential that you schedule the time to sit down and do the research and put the pieces together. If you're not into planning a regular time, then regularly talk about your trip. That way you can remind yourself to sit down and research or gather the pieces together, let people know anything that has involved in the planning process. I like to store all of my trip information in a Notion template, or sometimes I use the Notes app because that's easier for me to just send it to other people who are going on the trip. But it really all depends on who I'm going with, where I store all the information. Now, we come to setting a budget. Write a number down that you would like to spend for transportation, lodging, activities, food, and spending money. Now, these numbers may vary by your destination. So this is also where research comes into play because you will know how much you would need to bring with you based off of where you're going. The research stage, this is the biggest one. This is going to be the first and biggest thing that you do. Research everything. You need to know everything about this destination that you're going to, especially if you haven't been there before. This can be time consuming, so take your time. Planning well in advance will give you all the time you need in order to do this right. Keeping a list of places that you would like to travel to will also cut down some of the research because you're not actually researching different places. You already have a list that you can just pick from and then go from there. I like to do searches when I'm not planning a trip on different travel destinations just so I can have an idea and kind of store that in my brain or write it down somewhere. And that also helps cut down the time when it comes to planning as well. Now, as you're going around this process, think about what you would want out of a trip. Do you want a jam-packed itinerary, meaning you guys are going to bus, club, party, excursions, sightsee, beach? You're just going all day. Or do you want a more relaxing vacation where you can lay out on the beach all day? There's plenty of leisure time for you to do what you want. Having an idea of what you expect out of your trip can also help you pick the destination because certain destinations are just better for relaxation than to be partying all day. Some cities and towns don't have a lot to see or do. If you want a jam-packed itinerary, they may not be the cities and towns for you. Keep researching until you land on your destination. And you can always change your mind later. Nothing is set in stone until you start purchasing things. Now that you have your destination, research transportation options. How will you get there? Research different lodging options. Research activities, things to do. Research food options. I'm not committed to a trip until my transportation is secure. Usually that's a flight. So when I pay for that flight, that means I'm going. Then I look at lodging options, and once that is secure, then I move on to activities and kind of start building an itinerary. For every trip I take, itineraries are loose, and I categorize things by what I must do, what I'm on the fence about, like I can do it, but I also cannot do it, and what's absolutely optional, like it's just on there just to add stuff. So when I'm looking for flights, I use Google Flights so I can be able to compare different airlines and then set a tracker that can email me when the prices go low or go high. I like to use Wanderoo for buses because it kind of does the same thing, but there's no tracker that you can set on it. It just shows you the different bus options, and also it has trains options as well on there too. Now for lodging, this all kind of depends on where I'm going and who I'm going with. If I'm traveling with a nice group size, then I'm looking at Airbnbs so everybody can kind of stay together. But if it's a smaller group and I'm going with people who are kind of flaky, then I'm going to look at hotels. And also too, like I said, the destination really depends too, because some destinations are better to look at Airbnbs and some destinations are better for hotels. I like to book directly with the hotel or airline. I really don't like booking third parties because anything that happens, you have to go through the third party and not the airline or hotel directly itself. I've done it before and my trips have been fine and haven't had any major issues. It's just been a little hassle having to go through the third-party site. When you're looking at the stuff right in front of you, you kind of just want to ask them and not have to call somebody. Any benefits that the hotel or airline has, you most likely will have to book directly through them to be able to use that benefit. So that's another reason why booking directly through the airline or hotel is better. And I have been in a situation where I booked a hotel, the hotel overbooked. They weren't trying to accommodate me for a room or walk me over to another property because I booked through a third party. Luckily for that trip, it worked out. It just reminded me that sometimes even though the third party is cheaper, it's not always the best option. I also had a long layover in Doha over the summer, and I learned after booking the flight through a third party that their airline does offer complimentary lodging, but I did not qualify for it because I didn't book directly with the airline. The only thing that I booked third party is rental cars because the price is just worth whatever inconvenience is going to come my way. And I also haven't had any issues with booking cars third party. It's the only thing that I will book third party, and I'll go through third party for a flight or a hotel. If I have a tighter budget, booking directly is not within that budget. Now that your transportation and your lodging is secure, keep those confirmation emails somewhere safe. The last thing you want to do is be scrambling and trying to find something when you need it. And the last thing that I usually set is the itinerary. Again, I like a loose itinerary so I'm not stuck to anything and I can move things around as needed. Also, you never know what's going to happen. I've been on trips where I've looked up something and then go to the place and was like, nah, I'm not gonna go there. Having backup things is really helpful in those situations like that. So again, research is gonna be your best friend here. Look up everything. Make a list according to your interests. For me, that's restaurants, lounges, bars, attractions, beaches, sightseeing things, excursions, touristy things. If I'm going to a destination for the first time, I'm doing everything touristy. I like to separate the days out by day and night. So I have one activity during the day, one activity at night. And that's if I want to be super active. You can pack more into your itinerary if you want to. This is just what I like to do. And then I pack accordingly. I have a day outfit and then I have a night outfit. I also like to plan rest within my trip. There'll be chunks of time where nothing is planned. Just in case I need a nap, I want to do something else, or I just want to roam and see where the day takes me. And to me, a vacation is about relaxing. So there needs to be enough relaxation time. And to be honest, you won't be able to see everything on one trip. And then if it's enough things and you really enjoy yourself, go back. Now, hopefully you will find everything you need to know about your destination. But just in case, I highly suggest that you talk to other people about your trip. You never know who's been somewhere and maybe they can give you some really good advice. It's important to me to learn about the local culture and how things work, especially traveling internationally. I like to learn a few words of the local language. You may need to exchange your money for the local currency, and there may be also local customs that you might want to abide by. Now, granted, you won't be able to learn all the customs and you won't be able to learn all the things, but just learning the basics and show that you're respecting the local customs and culture. When I've traveled, just putting in the effort meant a lot. Now to review. Set time to regularly plan your trip. Start with a budget. Pick a destination. Research everything. Once you are secure on your destination, secure transportation, and then lodging. Pick things to do and keep all this information in a central place. And most importantly, have a blast. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there is a lot to do when you're planning a trip and there's a lot of information to absorb. But doing a little over time, being flexible and practicing patience will make this process more enjoyable. The more you plan, the easier things will be for you. And that's if you're a type A planner like me. If you're a type B, then go for it. This video ain't for you, really. This is for people who like to feel prepared. If you just being adventurous and want to go on a whim, poof, be gone and have a blast. If you want me to break things down more, leave a comment and subscribe so you know when I drop the video about how I pack. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.